All right, let's talk about something that's happening in boardrooms everywhere. You see, companies are pouring millions, sometimes billions, into AI. But here's the thing. Behind closed doors, a lot of leaders are quietly admitting that for them, it just doesn't work. So what's going on? Today, we're going to unpack a simple but really powerful truth. The AI itself isn't what's failing. It's something much more basic, a single foundational mistake.
And this really gets to the heart of it. There's this huge, massive gap between the promise of AI and what actually happens, right? It's sold to us as this magic wand, a shortcut to intelligence, an instant way to unlock all this business value. But for so many companies, that promise just kind of vanishes into thin air.
I mean, just look at this. On one hand, you've got the glossy brochure promise. AI will connect your data and unlock business value. It sounds amazing, right? But then there's the cold, hard reality. After months of work and tons of money spent, teams just give up. They quietly conclude it doesn't work for their business and that maybe it was all just hype. So, what gives? What is the real reason so many of these big, expensive AI projects are failing? If we're saying the AI technology itself isn't the problem, then what is? Well, it all boils down to one critical mistake, one that's made right at the very beginning.
And that mistake has a name. We call it the foundation fallacy. And trust me, understanding this one concept is the absolute key to avoiding those painful, costly failures that you see happening all over the place. So, what exactly is the foundation fallacy? It's this mistaken belief. It's the idea that AI is so smart, so powerful, that it can just sort out all your messy, disorganized data on its own. It's thinking you can just slap this amazing new tech on top of a chaotic data mess and somehow, magically, get intelligent results. But here's the tough truth, the part nobody really wants to hear. AI doesn't fix your data problems. Nope. It actually makes them worse. It amplifies them. Here's a great way to think about it. Building AI on top of messy data is like trying to build a giant, gleaming skyscraper in the middle of a swamp. I mean, you can have the most brilliant architect in the world, the best materials, but if that foundation is just mud and muck, what's going to happen? The whole thing is doomed to sink. It's going to collapse.
Okay, so how do you know if you're building on a swamp? Well, here are the symptoms. Ask yourself these questions about your own company. Is there clear ownership for your data? Like, does anyone's job depend on it being right? Do you have consistent definitions for things? Does sales define a customer the same way marketing does? And maybe the most important one, is there a single trusted source of truth that everyone actually believes in? If you're hesitating or answering no to these, you might be in trouble.
And you might be wondering, why on earth does this keep happening? It's pretty simple, really. Pressure. AI feels urgent. Your boss, their boss, everyone wants fast results. They want to see the shiny new toy working now. And all that foundational stuff, data governance, cleaning things up, getting everyone to agree on definitions, that work is slow. It's invisible. You can't really show it off in a meeting. So teams just skip it. They cross their fingers and hope the AI can somehow magically leapfrog over all that hard, messy work. But as you can probably guess, that shortcut leads to some really predictable and really painful consequences. When you build on that swamp, the failure isn't some abstract idea. It's a real, slow, expensive, and frankly, demoralizing burn for everyone involved. In fact, you can map out the whole anatomy of how these projects fail. It's a total downward spiral. Step 1, you apply the AI to all that messy, inconsistent data. What happens next? The model spits out weird, misleading insights. So then any automated decisions it makes are so bad that people have to constantly step in and fix them manually, which, completely defeats the whole point of automation. And pretty soon, nobody trusts the system at all. They just go back to their trusty old spreadsheets. And finally, the whole multi-million-dollar initiative, it's quietly shelved, labeled a failure, and nobody talks about it again. And let's talk about the money, because the cost of this failure is just brutal. You've got these huge license fees you're still paying every year. Your cloud costs are probably going up and up as these useless models just churn away on nothing. But that business value you were promised? It's flat, zero. You're just left with a giant money pit that's producing absolutely nothing but headaches and frustration. Okay, so that's the doom and gloom. That's the problem. But it doesn't have to be this way. There is a much better approach. The companies that are actually winning with AI, they just don't fall into this trap. They do things differently. They have a right-side-up approach. It's actually pretty simple. They flip the whole process on its head. They do all that boring, invisible work first. They stabilize their data. They get everyone to agree on definitions. They focus on quality. They build a single, trusted, governed data set. And only then, once that solid foundation is in place, do they bring in the AI. And you know what? That's when the magic actually happens. That's when you accelerate your business with insights you can actually trust.
Because in this setup, AI stops being this risky, high-stakes gamble. It becomes what it was always supposed to be, an incredible accelerator. It takes all the solid groundwork you've laid and just puts a rocket booster on it.
And this really requires a fundamental shift in how we think about AI. We have to completely reframe its role inside our companies. It's not what most people think it is.
Here it is. This might be the most important thing to remember. AI is not a data strategy. Let me say that again. AI is not a data strategy. You can't just buy a fancy AI tool and expect it to fix your data problems. That's just not what it does.
So if it's not a data strategy, what is it? It is a multiplier. That's its real job. To take whatever, and I mean whatever, you give it and amplify it, to multiply it at a massive scale, for better or for worse. And this is what that looks like in the real world. If your foundation is chaos, if it's inconsistent, if it's based on bad logic, guess what the AI is going to multiply? It's going to multiply that chaos across your entire business. It will automate bad decisions faster than you can even imagine. But if you give it a good foundation, one built on clarity, consistency, and solid logic, it will multiply that. It'll supercharge your ability to make smart, fast, and trustworthy decisions.
So that's the final question I want to leave you with. The one you need to go back and ask your team. What is your AI multiplying? Take a good, hard, honest look at your data foundation. Because the answer to that question, well, that's going to determine whether you succeed or you fail.